Dear Elon Musk, good morning. First thing first, I wish to thank you for the time and attention that you are dedicating to address this video letter. I really hope and wish that you are doing well, both physically, mentally, and in any other way. I wish to break a spell in favor of you because I don't think that the Roman salute that you did had the meaning of being a Nazi or a fascist. I strongly believe this because once you said that human consciousness is for you a light to protect in a vast darkness, and we do not want at all that this light would vanish. So that was one inspiration that you gave me. And I have to say that another big one that you gave me was when you said that money is information, money is data. That's why I already have released a video in which I addressed the UN for a UBI proposal. And I really hope that you could look through it and find inspiration for that too, because that is one of the policy proposals that I built in a text. I collected them in this text with 23 ministry design proposals, 23 policies proposals for Italy, Europe, in order to build a model that could be of much interest to other countries in the world, and of course it could be further improved. I wish to share with you some reflections that I hope you could find interesting. I guess, as Marx said, that there is the structure, that is the economy, and there is the superstructure, that is all that is built upon economy. Of course, nowadays, centuries later, it's so much different. We have technology that is at the root of economics, and it is shaping much more structure and superstructure than what structure would do just by itself or towards structure. It is very interesting looking at the situation that is in the West today, how all this is brought by a sort of Christian culture, a kind of Christianity that was bent to capitalism, such as the Geist des Capitalismus, the spirit of capitalism, the doctrine of predestination, the doctrine of fate, things that are in the Protestant doctrine. But nevertheless, they have some very deterministic and lassist ideas about capitalism as something that is God-given, as abundance that is God-given. There is not much consideration about the consequences of this assumed legitimacy and determinism that leads rich people to be viewed as blessed and God-given somehow. On the other side, we have the poor ones that are considered doomed or somehow cause of their own mischiefs. To some extent, it's surely true that having a high vibration helps a lot, of course. Welcome to my world about this, but I guess this should not be the view of a lay state. A lay state that has to be lay has to care to offer the best tools and instruments to improve the chances for realization for each human being and any kind of humanity that is on earth. We surely can do this. It's unfortunate that we tend to view the Western civilization and the Eastern civilization as opposites, because they're not. Also, I guess all these purity ideas in religion, this purity idea of human beings as they have to be machines. So we are having like human beings that have to be machines, and machines that are somehow replacing the lost humanity in human beings. It's a very, very conditioned idea that is somehow very spread, very normally considered. There are so many things that in this slow change brought up interacting with technology, we tend to ignore, we tend to consider as given. But in reality, each racist discourse is meaningless in face of knowing that our DNA has crossed Africa, India, and many other countries. And it's also very clear that anything we use is part of the whole global humanity, such as numbers. We use not Roman numbers, of course, but Arab numbers, and algebra, and alchemy. All the things that begin with al are from Arab word, and this is just a little part. Also, ancient Greeks were in contact with Eastern civilizations. All these panterei, all these things were part of this connection that was, of course, subject to damnatio memoriae, because Christianism tried all the way possible to destroy all the enrichments that were brought by other cultures, and of course tried to culturally appropriate about others, such as Samhain that became Halloween, Christmas, and many others. But in all of this confusion that is not, of course, just limited to this idea of capitalist Christianity, there is a lot of chaos. And I like to think, as Chinese do, that the word crisis could also be read as opportunity, as we already know, also in the West. So this opportunity is very important for us to act in order to bring order into chaos, to transform chaos into order. I guess it is very easy for those who know. But what is important, it is to implement this, because there is a sort of entropy of truth. And also in a society so crystallized and so free as democracy, we always have the chance to move backwards or forward. I am for moving forward. Why? Because this way we can progress. We can share more freedom to get more truth, and getting more truth, sharing it to free more people. These things are so important and so related to each other. And as Hubermas said, we live in a world in which capitalism is attempting in his imperialist approach to colonize also human lives, and this is so unfortunate. And I guess you and I don't want AI and robotics to destroy humanity or to replace it in a way that it would be a loss for humanity. Not at all. I guess we can use technology, particularly your suggestions for these very potent, very powerful technological innovations. We can use them in order to update democracy, make it more resilient, make it more free, make it of a higher quality in candidates, in services that we do to the people, because this is what politics should be, in my opinion. There should be a service to the people, the better management of the police, optimization of resources in a generous way, And of course, we have to shift from idea of scarcity to abundance. But we have to recognize this. To do this, we have to overcome the idea of scarcity on which capitalism relies upon. I guess this is the way, the right way. And of course, democracy is as powerful, as beautiful, in direct proportion to the instruction, education, acculturation, and also vitality of the population. All these things can be reached in a very wonderful way, keeping the freedom and independence of the people and letting them have their human rights granted. Because this is what I aim to, the realization of human rights and human dignity. We have to shift from this race to arms to a race for the realization of human rights as never has been done before. All these words bring us to memories of what this means. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are just an example of what horror is behind this war, this word that is war. Many senseis, many Japanese masters discovered Nam-myoho Renge-kyo as the mantra that was able to restore and revitalize the spirit of the Japanese people. Also, there is a wonderful Chinese motto that says that when two tigers confront each other, one dies and another one remains bad hurt. I think it is really wonderful how Chinese people depict paradise. They say it's a place where there is a banquet. On this banquet there is whole kind of food, a whole bunch of food of any kind. And people have these very long sticks to pick up the food. They are so long that if they try to pick up the food and eat each one for himself or themselves, they can't reach, it is too long. But they can use that to reach the other's mouth. When people do this, that place becomes paradise. When people tries to eat just for each one on their own, that is hell. So, I guess that there are many, many more common values that we can imagine, because we are humans. And I guess that nowadays all this social unrest is brought up by the lack of realization of human rights. People suffer because, as Warren Buffett said, the rich ones won the social clash, social struggle, the social classes confrontation. They won. They won the battle, but I don't think they won the war. And I guess that rather than a war, we have to recognize and acknowledge what social classes owe to each other, because that's how it is. That's how it is. And I do not want the selfish of politics and policies to become the selfishness of people, of groups, of nations that begin to call for nationalism, racism, national socialism, and all these things that are really, really, really unpleasant, because we can prosper, and the best way to prosper is all together. There is no other way. Has always been so the only way, as any war has to end with peace. So we have to get into the mindset of peace and prosperity in order to change the narratives, in order to change the desertion of hope that many people feel abandoned into. So I wish to propose to you a model for a democracy that is international, social, and progressist to export. We can also say socialist in a way that creates social cohesion among social classes in order to carry on the burden that we already have as humanity to face all together, because we are in this all together. There are pollutions issues, there are mental health issues, there are resources issues, there are so many issues that we have to face all together, unless we will keep on having capitalism, improving these things, trying to create a business upon them, destroying humanity, trying to sell a mechanic humanity, and this way we will call this pathological and pathogenetical situation the new normality. I don't want a world that is able to create new pathologies in order to survive until it collapses on itself. I don't think this is the sustainable model. I guess this is the sustainable model. We should also educate the people to understand that a global government and global institution, it is a very good thing, because this way, creating, for example, a global institution for the rationalization, redistribution of production and commerce would be a wonderful way also to use AI in real time for a real purpose, and also robots to be able to produce food and houses and housing solutions, and also this way begin to show that it is possible to live a better present and a better future. Also, there is another global institution that I would like to inspire, that aims to identify the real global problems, both visible and invisible, and together with people from all the world, putting together the knowledge to create the best set of solutions for these problems, understanding how these problems change in the different locations, the different cultures, and so proposing solutions that are culturally adaptable and acceptable for these different particular social and cultural realities all around the world. This way, all together, we come to understand the problems, and all together we come to offer the solutions that are acceptable to each culture, because this is very important to understand that each one of us as a group, as a civilization, as a culture, and there are subcultures. These are the expressions of humanity. These are the wonderful expressions of humanity that we have to protect. We cannot at all think that homologation that is good for machines, that is good for tools, is not good at all for human, okay? These things, we cannot think that the man has to become a machine as capitalism wants, okay? Humans have to be and stay human. Machines are good to be homologated, confirmed, whatever. We are humans. We are another set of things. We have to grow through culture, through feelings, and follow our heart and rise our vibration. But this is another topic. So, I wrote about 23 ministries and 23 political proposals. So, I will publish them here on this channel, little by little. I already have to finalize the text. I'm a little bit trying to be perfectionist about it, but if someone wants to know about it and is listening, just let me know and I could send you a draft, no problem at all. But I really hope to do this in next time. So, I write you asking you for a collaboration, asking you for a comment about this. And of course, you could ask me for this book if you're interested, and I will send it to you gladly. With your support and aid, we could do all of this, and I guess very, very much more, because I'm sure that my intelligence maybe is more human designed, human interested, is more into these things, social sciences and these things, and you are so much expert in machines, technology, improvements. I guess we, Elon, are two different kinds of intelligences. And I guess if our intelligences come together, they can learn very much from each other, or they can bring up very important and very different contributions that are complementary to each other. So, I really hope that you could consider this as part of your agenda, your plan, and your life purpose. Thank you very much. Be looking for your answer.